Good morning, everyone. We'll be starting in a minute. Hi, Mohit. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, hi Wasim. Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, depending on where you're joining from. So just give it a couple of minutes. There are a few more people joining in, and we'll be good to start. Thank you. I think Wasim, we can start. We have good deal of presence currently. Okay, so again, firstly, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Based on the location you're joining from. I'm Mohit. I'm the co-founder for Ionios. We are an Oracle partner company and currently based in Middle East. We have offices in Qatar, UAE, and Saudi as we speak. So it's a pleasure to welcome you all to this webinar on the procurement modernization. Along with me, I have Wasim, who is the VP for the procurement or we can say for the supply chain domain. And he and me together have been working since last 15, 16 years in the Oracle domain. So very quickly, I'll take you through the agenda. I don't want to take up much of your time. We just want to take you directly to the core of the webinar. Uh, so we'll have a very quick introduction about what Ionios is, what Orbrix is. Then we quickly move forward to the key insights, some key statistics that basically drive the complete modernization. That section onwards will be handled by Wasim. We will be defining what exactly modernization means. Where does Oracle Redwood stands in the journey of modernization? Where is the road forward to it? How we can leverage you as partners to take you on this journey of modernization? What are the Oracle AI capabilities? As since AI has been the talk of the town since last one year or so, so Oracle has come up with some intelligence agents. Just give me a second. Sorry. Yeah. So Oracle has come up with some AI agents which will be useful for your overall modernization journey. And how do we at the end measure the complete improvement? We say a lot about improvements and the changes in the process, but the key is how do we measure it? How do we put a value to it? And lastly, we'll touch base on the offerings on in terms of as Ionios and Orbrix, what are our core offerings in the modernization domain when we talk about moving from Redwood, utilizing Oracle AI agents? Wasim, you can take us to the next slide, please. So very quickly, we as Ionios are 1.5-year-old company, but luckily we have been fortunate enough to work with some pretty big logos in the region. The core that keeps us apart from the others, we have been focused on Oracle, the core team that we have has been focused on Oracle since last at least 12 to 15 years. And the combined team strength that we have as of now has more than 1,000 years of man years of experience as we speak. Our key verticals that we have been focusing on have been healthcare, BFSI, utilities, engineering and construction, and manufacturing. The services that we basically offer are more around implementation services, managed services, application development, analytics, automation, and integration services as well. And we touch base on all the pillars that basically Oracle has to offer. So our core has been finance, supply chain, HR, and EPM BI. Wasim, we can go to the next slide. So very quickly touching base on some key logos that we as INEOS have been working on are Emicool in UAE, Dubai Holding in UAE, Bean Media in Qatar, NMC in UAE again, Network International, Saudi Tadawul Group that's based in KSA. We have been working exclusively with our partner Orbrix, who are a sort of our delivery center that manages the execution of our projects from offshore. And they themselves have been an expert on the Oracle domain. And we and Orbrix combined bring up a very, very powerful delivery team, a strong delivery team, a good consulting team that takes you through the journey of the implementation and the support. And it is not just a one-off engagement that we believe in. It has been a journey with the customers, taking them through point A to point B with ease. And as we talk about the other ecosystem, we believe strongly in the partner ecosystem, and we have been working with various partners in the regions. So, for example, Mannai, Trendgile, Oracle Consulting as well, Vistas Global, Explio, Mastech. So these are the partner companies whom we have been engaged directly or indirectly onto multiple projects. Pasim. So very quickly touching base on the overall delivery strength of INEOS and Orbrix combined, we as INEOS are core in terms of on-site presence, pre-sales, and the on-site delivery team. On the other end, Orbrix are our offshore delivery partner, and they have their own strong purpose methodology that ensures that we have a strong delivery team and the end-to-end delivery is met on time, on point. We have been completely focusing on the Middle East. All our employees are currently based in the Middle East. It is all Saudi, UAE, and Qatar based. And the core that basically again separates us from the other team is we have come in from a startup culture, and we do believe in a startup culture, and that is where the flexibility comes into the picture. We understand customer pain. We have been working in this region for last 15, 17 years. So we do understand that we need to be flexible when time at some critical times. And that basically keeps us apart from the other partners in the region. And similarly with Orbrix, they come in with a very, very strong experience of their own delivery team. They have a very strong consulting as we move forward into the presentation, we'll be able to look at it even further. And the overall combination of INEOS and Orbrix combined is a dual force basically, and that basically takes you through the journey very, very comfortably. Yeah, Wasim.
Thank you, Mohit, for the introduction. I'll take it from here. So I'm going to go directly into the topic of presentation. So today's topic is more of around modernization, and that too with a focus on procurement. So let me start by just talking about some of the alarming examples which you are able to see on my screen, which highlight that almost 52% of the organization who go through a digital transformation are not able to get the full value out of the processes which have been implemented. Along with that, if we try to focus on the procurement related statistics, which are from a lot of consulting and research institutes like Gartner, Deloitte, and PwC, they also highlight that even in terms of specific related processes related to procurement, the challenge is majorly around the non-utilization of the system, or maybe the utilization of the system, but not accurate measurement of whether the ROA has been achieved or not. So the key message which we wanted to pass on with these insights was completing an implementation is not the end of the journey. It all makes sense only if you start tapping the value which you have from the systems. And then definitely here we are talking more of in the context of Oracle Fusion or Oracle Cloud applications. So it is important to leverage your existing implementation to modernize your business processes. So that has been the key underlying message. You would have also received that in the invite which you had seen. So that so there would be a question, right? What is modernization? You keep hearing about modernization. We have been talking about that for procurement. Modernization is key. So how do we simplify it? How do we understand from an organization standpoint where you are in terms of modernization, what you have to do to go to the next phase of modernization? So for the simplification purposes, we divide every digital transformation which we are part of into three phases: lift off, ascend, and orbit. So we term this as the maturity phase of your implementation or the maturity phase of your transformation. Now, each of the phase has different actions and definitely the outputs which will take you into the next phase. So if we talk about the first phase, which is a lift off, you try to focus on implementing modern best practices. So this would be the initial start where you try to do away with the manual processes, bring in system or digital transformation for different processes like contract creation to procurement compliance, requisition to payment, trying to ensure that there are no manual processes being there, ensuring the best practices are leveraged. So once you have done or passed through the lift off phase, then comes the very critical phase where we see majority of the organizations are not able to leverage the best value out of the implementation, and that's the ascend phase. Now, the ascend phase is something where you start thinking above the system features, but you start focusing more on, are you able to benchmark and measure the KPIs majorly? For example, are you able to understand what's the overall cycle time from requisition to payables? Or are you able to analyze what has been your total contract leakage, which actually converts into dollar value? So many organizations are into the lift off stage and remain in that for a lot of years. And for moving into ascent, the visibility is one of the key thing. As you go into the visibility, then comes the part of, okay, what are the capabilities which are not being leveraged? What are the additional areas which we can tap into to ensure that the best value is achieved from the system? And that's where comes the other phase of Redwood. Now, Redwood, as you would be knowing, because everyone is familiar with the ecosystem, Redwood is the recent set of capabilities which Oracle has rolled out. For HCM, it has been there for from last couple of years. For supply chain, it has been coming out aggressively from last year. So this are one of the key set of next gen capabilities which an organization has to tap into. And of course, I'm going to talk in detail why Redwood, why specifically Redwood has to be there at this point of time. But at this stage, it is important to understand that if you want to go into the next phase, which is an orbit, or which is the phase where your implementation ROI becomes maxed out, is through Redwood, because Redwood is going to be a gateway for adopting a lot of enterprise AI features which Oracle cloud applications have, or leveraging AI Agent Studio, which is coming out as we are talking in 25C. For leveraging all those, you need Redwood to be there, and that's where AI and automation are going to come out. Once that all has been done, then you would be wondering that, okay, now I have passed through the ascent phase. I have done all the leveraged all the capabilities. I have started benchmarking the capabilities or KPIs. How do I monitor it? So that's where an important aspect comes, where is continuous monitoring is required. That whether have you taken the necessary actions which you decided, what were the benchmarks you set at the earlier stage, have you achieved that? So that all is modernization. So this is what something at Orbrick and Ionios we call it as a maturity assessment, and we identify whether you are into a lift off, ascend, orbit phase, and that determines what is the next set of action for you. Now, on the screen, what you are currently seeing is something which Orbrick has created based on our decades of years of experience in terms of consulting and business process optimization. And this is something which we call as ERP outcome stack. We have almost 70 plus outcomes as a part of the outcome stack. But for today's focus, we are going to talk majorly around the procurement, where you say where you have currently 9 focused outcomes which an organization can choose from. Now, what are these outcomes? So these outcomes are majorly designed for each of the different phases. So like, let's say, for example, if you are into a lift off phase, your focus is majorly going to be on ensuring that the system is utilized in a best possible way, and you ensure your processes do not have any bottlenecks. Mainly either, let's say, for example, PO approval cycle time or requisition approval cycle time, or ensuring that the requisitions are created into a purchase order if you are following a manual conversion process without any blockages. So what we do is we analyze using a fixed set of KPIs, and based on that we rate how you are doing in that particular stage, and then based on that what actions have to be taken for you to move from the lift off phase to the next. So as you move from the lift off phase, you enter into the ascent phase, where now the focus is not just on the ensuring the cycle times are lower, but also ensuring that all the advanced or modernization capabilities start coming to use for you. So let's say, is touchless buying being used in order to ensure that the operational efficiency is achieved, so that you save a lot of hours in terms of buyers inputs or buyers time, whether electronic PO transmission is being adopted or not, because that will ensure that a seamless communication with supplier is happening. So that all is something which would give you an idea. So based on this KPIs, we rate where you are in terms of procurement adoption index, and that will determine that which phase you are in. So this is what the procurement outcome looks like. Now, just to show you this outcomes into action, I'm going to go into the next screen, and then we call it as a foresight, which is our automated data driven assessment. How this works is we connect foresight to your Fusion environment, and it does not takes weeks or months to get what is your current level of maturity. Within couple of hours, you would be knowing, or you would be getting a report from the application which will tell you what are the key KPIs, how you are performing at that, what is an indication for that, and what is the focus area you have to look on. So I'm going to play a video which is going to explain how the foresight runs on your Fusion application. So you connect your Fusion application, and you select the outcomes. As we mentioned, we have 70 plus outcomes. You select what are the outcomes you want to focus on. So what you are currently seeing are some of the procure-to-pay related outcomes, focusing on ensuring the days payable outstanding and supplier collaboration is improved. And you enter the other details, and you click on generating the foresight report. And as I mentioned, within some period of time, it generates a foresight report which lays out an executive summary. It also focuses on the dollar value wherever possible, what can be achieved as an improvement, and it tells you what phase you are on. Very importantly, it also gives you an identification of what your overall process is. Let's say you are creating a purchase requisition and submitting it, and then it goes for approval. What is the bottleneck? What is taking the most amount of time? And this is not done on one particular transaction. This is the combined set of transactions where we leverage process mining to determine the bottlenecks. And this is very important because this will give you pointers around what are the bottlenecks in your process. And then for each outcome, as you can see, enhance supplier collaboration and experience, we rate based on different lenses. You see, for process quality, we are at the lift-off phase. However, for ensuring the efficiency in terms of process, we are at the ascent stage. And this is not just some subjective thing, but we give out a detailed benchmark by benchmark metric values, tell you what are the industry-specific, geography-specific benchmarks, and also understanding of how the benchmark translates. So let's say, for example, the invoice date to creation date. So the lower the number of days, it is better. And you also see over here what was the performance in a previous quarter, what has been the performance in current quarter, and what is the impact because of that particular KPI. So that is something. And then, as I said, this takes you through a lot of other details, like how many PO match transactions are being created, or what's the percentage of prepayments which we are doing. So those all details, benchmarking, and outcome is something which gives out in this report. And at the end, a summary of what are the core problems. Means we might have analyzed 80 or 100 KPIs. However, not everything might require your focus. So that's where we highlight these are the key or top areas you need to focus on. And based on that, unactionable solutions are also given in which might be a quick insight around what can be the solution. So the focus of Foresight is to give you a data-driven assessment, and that too in an automized way. So that's where the core focus of Foresight is. Okay, so next I'm going to move on to once that Foresight has been ran, probably your organization scoring might appear something like this, where based on different outcomes which we were talking about, and from different lenses in terms of data, in terms of adoption of AI, process modernization, efficiency, where do you stand? So this is the matrix you would get from the different outcomes you selected. And probably if you try to zoom in, you would see that AI automation, and then this is something which has been our observation for the organizations where we are running these assessments and putting down a next set of action, that leveraging of the key capabilities which are out of the box available is something which has the major inputs to improve the scoring. So here you see the process modernization is low, procurement adoption, invoice transformation. The AI automation score is also low on a lot of outcomes. And how does it make sense is we leverage the out of the box capabilities, mainly if we are talking about Redwood. That is going to be a gateway for a lot of other capabilities what Oracle is going to bring in future, and that too at no additional cost, because the investment has already been done. Redwood and AI Agent Studio, they all come out of the box in Fusion. So why Redwood? So I just talked about that. Of course, this is a gateway to adopting to all the next gen technologies, leveraging AI Agent Studio, leveraging the Gen AI capabilities what Oracle is bringing. So of course, those areas are important. However, there are some key things like Oracle has brought guided journeys, which is going to improve a lot in terms of user experiences. So those journeys are available with Redwood. Of course, the thoughtfully integrated tabs and search, which are going to reduce the number of clicks which the users are going to do, is also one of the key focus area. Plus an important aspect, the responsive design. So mobile first approach is also there, where the UI is going to be very similar for either you use it in tablets or mobile, or you use it on your PC. So these are some of the important aspect, along with VBS, which I'm going to talk at bit length in the next slide, which is going to empower you to create extensions and get personalizations done as per your industry specific needs. Now, another important aspect is some of the areas in procurement, like external supplier registration, self-service procurement, have also started going into becoming mandatory from 25C. So what does that mean is you would lose the support if you are not transitioning at this time, and your classic UI pages would not be supported for any bugs or enhancements or upgrades. So that is also one of the reason why you should start thinking about Redwood. And these are just the some of the pages. As we go, some modules and other pages also going to be on a similar path of becoming mandated. So I talked about Redwood, another important aspect, and mainly for the folks on the call who are more technically aligned, you would be wondering that what does Visual Builder Studio bring for us? So it's important to understand that earlier we had page composer capabilities, application composer capabilities that are now a Visual Builder Studio is going to take up on all of that, all the personalizations which you were able to do in page composer. They are of course going to be part of the VBS, but along with that, you also get an advanced mode in VBS where you can do Groovy scripting, and based on that, additional extensions or developments can be built on VBS, and that is all part of your existing Fusion out of the box. So how does Orbrick and Ionios ensure that the VBS is leveraged to the max extent? Is we ensure that every page where you have personalization, we do a personalization helper analysis, and based on that, of course, we do a feasibility and estimation of what the VBS development is going to be, and then the usual process of implementing any extension. But the difference over here is this is a Fusion inbuilt extension. We execute, build, unit test, and then release the documentation onto that. So this ensures that you get the best out of both the worlds. You don't have to compromise on the processes or the personalizations which you have currently done. Plus, you get to the best of the next gen pages. So this is about Redwood and VBS. It's important to also understand that what is coming up next in Redwood. So in self-service SSP and procurement, a lot of features have already been out. But however, as this progresses, contract management, enterprise contracts, procurement contracts is going to get a big upgrade in terms of a lot of Redwood pages and a lot of other capabilities. A lot of Gen AI capabilities are going to come out of the box, like DNB integration, which is used by a lot of organizations for supplier rating. So that is going to be available out of the box. You are also going to get support for Gen AI SQM score supplier responses. So that all capabilities are going to come out in upcoming pages, but that all is possible if you start adopting to the Redwood of Oracle. A lot of things around Redwood. The question might be how do we transition? How do we make sure that you are on to Redwood, or what's the approach? So we leverage a approach which is a combination of waterfall plus agile. Why we say a combination? Because we take up a particular module, or we recommend our customers to take up a specific module. Let's say, for example, SSP, which is going to be out of support in 25 seats. So that would be the preference, or that should be the priority. And based on that, we determine sprints for let's say, for example, 4 weeks of time, where you focus on SSP, transition all your pages within SSP into Redwood. So that analysis and enablement is one of the key thing. One of the other areas to focus on when going for Redwood transition is the role mapping, because if you have custom roles created, there are going to be edits or adding of privileges which would be required. And most importantly, once that has been done, validation and transition process is something which we focus on, ensuring a right amount of training and testing, because users, of course, this is an upgrade to what the users are using, but of course, training and testing are an important pillars of going through this approach. So this ensures your Redwood transition is ticked and tied, and then that opens the gate for leveraging the AI features which Oracle is giving out of the box. And of course, important talk of the town has been AI Agent Studio, which is coming out in 25C. Some of you might have your test environments already upgraded, so you would have an AI Agent Studio. So what is AI Agent Studio? So we have been hearing about agents a lot. Maybe in a webinars you would be seeing a lot of content. So what Oracle has done is it has brought its own platform where Fusion Cloud customers are able to get it at no cost, where you can create agents on your Fusion environment which are going to bring in efficiency by performing a lot of transactions automatically, or probably giving you RAG based information if you want to chat based on documentation, or you want to get information on procurement policy. What's my procurement policy? Can I purchase this? What's the expense code? I have to log it in. So those kind of details are all available in Agent Studio. You can create your own agents based on the templates which have been provided. Of course, there can be multiple multi-agent orchestration. So let's say, for example, you are into inventory planning. So what you can do is you can check whether a particular warehouse has a stock or not. If not, then check another organization. If yes, then create a transfer order. If not, then place a purchase order directly or a requisition directly. So those kind of automation capabilities are now possible. You can design or orchestrate those kind of agents. And then based on that, this can also be extended beyond Fusion. So if there are any external systems with which you want to get connected and get the rates, let's say, for example, you want to get a freight quote. What's the service provider's freight quote? So you can have an agent which can connect, fetch you the rates, and you don't need to leave the Fusion environment at all. So those kind of capabilities are part of the AI Agent Studio. This all happens within Fusion. So the built-in security of Fusion gets applied automatically automatically, and there are no additional security rules which you need to create. So a powerful tool of AI Agent Studio, a lot of templates or standard agents you are going to get, and you can create your own agents out of it. So this is one important upgrade. And what we have done is some of the procurement, the list of AI use cases which are currently out in Fusion runs into a number of pages. However, I have tried to focus on the procurement KPIs and try to match it, because it's important that the features or the use cases you adopt are giving you the desired business outcome. If you're not able to map it or measure it with the business outcomes, then the feature is just going to be termed as a feature and may not be leveraged in business. However, what we try to do in our implementations is try to match it with the business outcomes and ensure that the right business outcomes are achieved by adopting to the right AI use cases. So here what we have done is on the left hand side you see the AI use cases which Oracle has launched. It's a combination of Gen AI as well as AI agents, and the business outcomes which we were earlier talking, what areas needs to be focused on. So this is the mapping where you can leverage the out of the box capabilities of Oracle. So yeah, I'm just going to be on this slide for 10 seconds for everyone to read, and then we'll move on to the next slide. So, and if you try to now relate back to what I was earlier talking about, we talked about lift. You are in lift off, you map and identify benchmarks, identify what phase you are in, and based on that, you determine that yes, we want to go for Redwood AI. You adopt that. So then that brings us to an important milestone, which I was earlier talking about. How do you measure whether you have achieved the business benefits or not, or the outcomes which you had focused on? So for that, very similar to Foresight, Orbrick has built Hindsight, another tool which the focus is on continuous outcome monitoring. So you set up your benchmarks, you measure the system, and then based on that, adopt Redwood AI and other features. Then we come back to check whether have you got a business advantage, whether the KPIs have been moving up. So I'm going to show you a recording of how does the Hindsight work. Again, very similar to Foresight, this also gets connected with your Fusion environment and proactively monitors your improvement in the KPIs. So here you see the landing page tells you what phase you are in overall performance and the different lens through which the analysis is being done. And as we progress, you will see that we can go into specific business outcomes. So here you see some of the HCM related applications which have outcomes which have been listed down, and it tells you how has been the performance in quarter on quarter, what was the average time which was being taken, and what has been the trend graph. Along with that, you can also focus on the different outcomes, like what is the average time to requisition, what is the average time to fill, and that shows you whether you have been improving or you are not. And more importantly, we talked about process mining at the start, right? Where we were telling that you focus on your process, identify the bottlenecks. So it also gives you a view on what was the previous process mining flow and what's the current process mining flow. And that also gives you an identification whether you have improved, whether the processes have changed or not, or still the bottlenecks are the same. So we do this monthly or quarterly. And then you also get a tracking of the interventions, that the different areas which we recommend to improve the particular outcome, and whether you have done that or not. So you get a traceability around whether the right interventions have been done or not. And then if all these things can be converted in dollar value, we have a value realized option also, where we identify and show you what is the dollar value which you have improved or gained from this outcome implementation. So that's Hindsight or continuous outcome monitoring for you. And so that takes you, or that makes sure that you are at the right level of maturity or into the orbit phase where you will keep on focusing on the improvement. So so I have talked a lot on the technical part. The next question might be, how do we make sure, or how do we ensure that this what are the packages through which we can start focusing on the transition. So Orbrick and Ionios provides two bundles. We have Navigator and Navigator Plus. The Navigator, of course, focuses majorly on Redwood and AI features enablement, where we would make sure that the transition approach is followed, ensure that all the capabilities of SSP and procurement are leveraged. And we focus on 4 weeks of transformation for SSP and procurement cloud, along with VBS enablement for 40 hours, 40 hours for the objects. Then the other package is around Navigator Plus, where along with Redwood AI and feature enablement, we identify or we do a data-driven modernization assessment, which I earlier showed you a glimpse of. Then, of course, the enablement part, and then a continuous monitoring tool is also provided to make sure that the benchmarks or the focus which you had kept at the starting stage, are you able to achieve it or not? And therein, as I mentioned, foresight, hindsight, and personalization helper are the tools which are going to be leveraged. And these are the bundles for SSP procurement. We offer similar bundles for other supply chain modules, or complete supply chain, or complete HCM modules, if you are looking for that. So these are our bundles, and then that's what we wanted to cover in today's webinar, to give you an identification or understanding of what procurement modernization is and what should be your areas of focus. Thank you.
Thanks, Wasim. So before we open up for the questions, very quickly, so firstly, thank you everyone for attending the webinar. We will be sharing out the presentation and the content with you separately over the email, and the team will also follow up for any questions or any meeting that you want to have following this webinar. So thank you again, and we would just like to open up for questions for the next 10 minutes before we end up the webinar. Wasim, in case.
Yep.
So do we just unmute it, or do we take the questions on the chat? That's your call.
Yeah, I'm going to allow mics for, so yep.
Yeah, if you can, everyone can raise hand and we can take up the questions. We still have a couple of minutes. So, two questions on the chat. One is on the HCM modules. Yes, we do have, we do the Redwood transition for the HCM as well. We have built up our own tools on which sits on top of HCM. So yes, we will be sharing out that presentation to you separately, Mr. Ganesh. And also on the financials, we will also share out the details of the financials with you separately. So the idea was, since SSP Redwood migration was being mandated with this quarter coming in, we wanted to touch base on that particular aspect, but also it is not just limited to the supply chain or just the self-service procurement. We cover the entire Oracle suite in terms of the Redwood migration. And also the tools that we have presented, hindsight, foresight, are all applicable throughout the Oracle suite that we have, especially on the supply chain financials and the HRMS. So we will be sharing out the details to you. Again, the team will reach out to you separately. Any further discussions, any separate meetings that we would want to set up, we are more than happy to do that. We'll also share out the package details and the initial pricing setup along with that, so that we can have further discussions on it.
So Osama has a question. Can AI help in enabling Redwood either in HCM or supply chain? So there are two parts to that, Osama. There are some features in Redwood which do not require any setup consideration or any manual inputs. However, there are certain areas which definitely would require a configuration. And of course, if your environment has a set of personalizations, you would definitely need to go through the VBS development or transition, then only you would be able to leverage. So the AI window which gets opened up in terms of AI agents or leveraging the Gen AI features, they are mainly post your Redwood upgrade, because that's where those features get turned on.
We have another question from Ganesh. If you can just unmute Ganesh, and we can take up the question.
Yeah, I think Ganesh was highlighting there is a mandate for ORC. Yes, Ganesh, you're unmuted.
There's a mandate for ORC also. And some of the helper tools which we ran were not very helpful in terms of identification of all the customizations or personalizations that we have done. Yeah. So
Correct.
we have to literally go for every set of personalization that we've done and rewrite the whole thing back. So how the Navigator or the Navigator Plus, do we have Navigator and Navigator Plus for most of these modules, or do we have as a block for the HCM? How will that pan out? Was a little bit curious about that. That is my first question.
Sure.
My second question is Fusion Accounting Hub, because we are using EPM. We are just rolling out strategic workforce and planning and the EPM piece of it. So is there a separate track for that also?
Okay, thank you. So I'll take the first question. In terms of HCM, yes, we have a similar packages of Navigator and Navigator Plus. We understand that some of the personalizations might not get determined by the personalization helper. So yes, Navigator Plus, both are applicable for all our modules and packages, Ganesh. So I assume that answers your question in terms of ensuring that the right visibility is available. We leverage foresight, hindsight for those packages, for those set of modules where you want to. And to your next question on FAH EPM, yes, we have a separate practice. I'm not really an expert on the EPM and FAH part, but of course our team would be able to help you and link it with the right people.
That will be Tahir and Niyam or somebody else?
Tahir and Mohit, yes. They would be able to link you with the right people.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Afzal has a question. Can we get the technical specification for scoping criteria of Hampton? Yeah, absolutely, Afzal. We'll get in touch with you to talk about the technical specifications of foresight and hindsight. So we have 4 more minutes. Any questions? If you have questions, you can type in chat or you can unmute and talk about the specific question. Or okay. I think we are good. No more questions. Mohit, any closing remarks, or we are good to close?
Yep, we are good to close. So thank you, Wasim, for the session, and thank you everyone for taking out time attending the session, getting some insight about what Ionios and Orbix are, and what this entire journey of Redwood basically means for you, along with the AI agents. So as I mentioned, the team will get in touch with you. We will be sharing out the content to you separately. The team will get in touch with you and discuss on any opportunity that we can talk on in terms of assisting you in migrating your current environment to make it Redwood ready, basically. So thank you, everyone. It was a pleasure to host you all, and thank you for being a part of this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.